This will be the very first official visit by President Xi Jinping after he took office. What will be the major issues topping his agenda?
First of all, let me say that China-U.S. relationship has, on the whole, maintained a sound momentum of growth. And the two presidents have stayed in frequent contact with each other, either through meetings or by correspondence. And there has been cooperation between the two sides on global issues like climate change and disease control. So against this backdrop, the president will make his state visit to the United States later this month at the invitation of President Obama. And I believe that this is a very important visit because both countries are very important in the world, China being the largest developing country, the United States being the largest developed one. Both are permanent members of the UN Security Council. So there are a host of areas where China and the United States can and should cooperate with each other to promote peace, stability, and development in various regions and in the world.
How is this upcoming state visit by Mr. Xi Jinping different or special from the previous one in Sunderland, California last time?
Well, this is an official state visit. So a state visit, by its very sense, is very important, and it's a comprehensive covering of all the events of China-U.S. relationship, I mean the major ones. So following up on their very substantive and productive discussions at Sunderland, California, and in Intai, Beijing, the two presidents will have in-depth discussion this time. First of all, I believe that they will further chart the course of China-U.S. relationship, particularly the new model of major country relationship between China and the United States. And then there will also be lots of discussions on practical cooperation between the two sides. And I believe that some substantive results will come out of that. The two countries will also do a lot for the Asia-Pacific region and for the world as a whole. By the way, I believe the president will reach out to a cross-section of the American society to get in touch with people from various walks of life to build up more bonds of friendship and understanding between the two sides.
Do you think both sides, China and the U.S., have been able to reach a consensus about what kind of major power relationship should be advanced in the correct direction?
Mm-hmm. Well, at Sunderland, as you know, the two presidents agreed to build a new model of major country relationship between the two countries, i.e. China and the United States, and this goal has been reaffirmed by the two presidents thereafter. And if we look back on what has been achieved, we can call it a real early harvest. On the bilateral side, our trade has been on the way up. In the year 2014, the two-way trade was about $550 billion US, and the cumulative investment both ways amounts to about $120 billion US, and there are many, many visitors crisscrossing the Pacific. From Afghanistan to the Korean Peninsula, the two countries have worked in coordination with other countries for peace and stability and development. And particularly, I would like to point out that there was last year this joint announcement between China and the United States to address climate change. And the military ties between the two countries have been further built. And there is this new visa arrangement between the two countries, which actually facilitates visits by business people and students. So all this shows that a new model of major country relationship between our two countries will work in the best interests of China and the United States and for the rest of the world. What is important is really to adhere to the principles of avoiding conflict and confrontation, and to respect each other's core interests and major concerns and pursue win-win solution.
This year, 2015, marks the 70th anniversary of the Second World War in the East. We were allies. China and the US were allies during the Second World War, fighting Japanese aggression together. This time around, Mr. Xi Jinping will address the General Assembly in New York to commemorate the 70th anniversary. Can you brief us on the highlights of His Excellency's keynote presentation there?
First of all, I would say that you're absolutely right that we were allies during the Second World War against the Japanese aggression. And we will never forget this friendship between China and the United States. And after the war, the United Nations was established. China and United States and other countries have been working within the framework of the international system, and China itself has been contributing to the building of the international system. So China is both a contributor and a builder of the system. We believe that the United Nations, being the most authoritative and representative intergovernmental organization, should play an even bigger role in maintaining world peace and promote development. And that's actually the expectation of people all around the world. And this year happens to be the 70th anniversary of the founding of the UN. And I would like to tell you that the President himself will go to a series of UN summits after his visit to the United States. And his presence there is a concrete example to show our commitment and support for the UN system. And the President will, of course, address the general debate of the United Nations, and he will expound on China's views on the political landscape in the world and the order in the world. And he will also attend the post-2015 Sustainable Development Summit. China and other countries contributed to the drafting of the document. So, by the way, I would like to say and tell you that he and other leaders will witness the adoption of the post-2015 development agenda. And China has taken some initiatives on its own. The President and Mr. Ban Ki-moon, the Secretary General of the UN Secretariat, will co-host a summit on women's empowerment and a roundtable discussion for South-South cooperation. And the President, of course, will make some very important speeches on both occasions to show our further cooperation with the rest of the world on these two major issues, and will also propose some very important actions in the future on our own as well, in conjunction with the other participants. So this will be a very important visit, and this will be the first appearance of President Xi Jinping at the UN headquarters as the President of the People's Republic of China.